The father and grandmother accused of killing a 10-year-old boy in Bangor in 2024 had a hearing today. Joshua Smith and his mother, Misty Lazarette, are both charged with murder in the death of Braxton Smith. At the hearing, both waived their right to a jury trial, instead requesting a judge decide their fate. Also, Smith asked to change his plea to not guilty to not guilty by reason of insanity. Smith's attorney, Don Brown, said further medical evaluation and examination is needed for Smith before the trial, and they're still awaiting to hear from experts asking for a continuance. The trial was already delayed in February for the same reason. The defense said a medical evaluation showed Smith believed his parenting methods were, quote, the right thing to do. Prosecutors arguing the court should move forward.
I don't think that the court should indulge Attorney Brown's desire to continue to fish for experts that might provide a lifeline to this defendant on this last-minute articulated, this last-minute suggested defense, which has not been fully articulated.
So we came away with far more questions than we went into this meeting with, and with no answers. And that's when we talked to a couple of other experts and realized that we needed to do more work on it. So it's been described by the state as a Hail Mary in gamesmanship. We simply want to make sure that Joshua gets a fair trial.
Justice Ann Murray denied the defense's request for a continuance. Braxton's mother, Jem Bean, who was also charged with his murder, pleaded guilty to manslaughter in February. Lazarette's trial is set for sometime next week. Smith will be back in court on Thursday.